Fisho's really cooling down at the moment. Things look quite promising though. We're still getting some reports of some very sizable cod. A few upstream from Wagga, 80s and 90s seem to be reasonably common. Surface lure fishing isn't too bad. There's a lot of hours to be put in if you want to catch a few fish, I can tell you now. You're not going to get them hand over fist like you do in the summertime. The system slows down this time of year, but the bigger fishers seem to be quite active. And the water is so clear in the river at the moment, it's incredible. You can see the fish come out and follow your lures, whether you're using spinner baits, hard bodies. Bright colours seem to be reasonably consistent too, so we're pretty happy with that. From Wagga downstream, some good numbers of cod and yellers, but from Wagga upstream, yellow belly seem to be more prolific, so it looks pretty promising, and a few trout cod and that up there as well, so it looks really good. Old Creek's inconsistent, but it is producing a few here and there. Surface lure action in the creek isn't too bad. Now with Mulwala, for example, it's very low at the moment. It should be about 50% or less. They're letting a little bit more water out, so it'll probably drop to 20 by the end of the week, and it looks quite promising actually. There's some big cod getting caught in the channels and a reasonable amount of fish. I don't know if that'll last though. We'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Cross our fingers, hope it keeps going. Hume Weir's pretty dead, not a lot of activity there at all, which is disappointing. Same goes with Blowering, not much activity. Burrinjuck the same, not much activity. There is fish getting caught in those areas, but they're working really hard and putting in a lot of time for them. Off the bank at Blowering is going to be your best bet. Yabbies off the bank should produce some very good catches over the next couple of months. I can assure you that'll happen. Now, one thing you'll notice in the river, if you're using bait, you'll probably get a lot of Murray crays on the end of your line. Now don't forget, it's the 1st of June before you can keep crays. You can start putting your pots in, start targeting then, and it looks like it could be a darn good cray season. They're out and about already in reasonable numbers, so it looks very promising, so we'll keep that one in mind. You can put your cray pots in from Berrinbed Weir up to the Gundagai Road Bridge. That's the only area. None in Old Man Creek, so just keep that in mind. Pick up a regulation guide when you come into the shop, and that'll give you a bit of an insight into it. Got all the cray measures there as well. Tumut River's worth of fish. Certainly quite a few trout coming out of it. It's a little bit up and down at the moment, which is inconsistent and a bit frustrating. Tantangra, quite a few small fish out of it last week. Bait fishing off the banks producing some of the better quality fish. So as you can see, we've got a fair bit of activity around us. Oh, by the way, Wangler, it seems to have slowed down a fair bit. It was one of our hot dams over the last 2 seasons, but it's quieted down a fair bit as well. Might be just a change in temperature, but keep an eye on the dams at the moment, because they will fire up sooner or later. We're not too sure when. Maybe on the next full moon. Cross our fingers. This is the Compleat Angler's Fishing Report for this week. We'll catch you next week.